Good day to you, good day. We have had many discussions on the issue of safety of students, school children. There are three stakeholders in this: students themselves, parents, and teachers. At present, there is a tendency that teachers are in a bit of spotlight, schools are in a spotlight, and parents are getting rather, what shall I say, accusatory, and teachers or school getting defensive. I want to suggest to you, I am Dr. Lalith Mendis, I have done many talks on this subject. I want to suggest to you that schools and parents should work together. I also want to sort of suggest that kids are mostly at home, so habits that produce isolated behavior must be watched for at school itself. So let me begin with signs of kids' isolation. I have done a lecture on signs of kids' isolation at home. They get increasingly digitized and they don't come out of the room, they don't come out of a meal time. They keep parents out of information. Parents have to ferret out information. And I have done a long talk on how parents must not lose their cool, somehow keep a door open into the child's life. I have done a talk on the closed space syndrome of a child, still face syndrome of a child, where they increasingly associate only with the digital screen, music, and a few digitized friends like themselves. So if you want those clips, just send to me the topic you like, and I will send to you a relevant clip. But today I want to concentrate on school and parent harmony, how the school and the parent can work together for the best for the kid, isn't it? That's our goal. So signs of kids' isolation that can be observed in the classroom is absent, often missing homework. They may look disheveled or not attending on their personal appearance. Tears, of course, silence when questions are asked, cornered by other students, hanging out alone at interval time, coming to the teacher's table when the teacher is alone, trying to say something, but they won't say. You must pick up the sign that this child is in need. Then some of them have food fads, and even anorexia nervosa, looking skinny. Now teachers cannot only teach these days, they have to be trained to be therapists and those who see signs early, because those digitized kids may have little parent-child interaction at home. Initially parents are too busy. By the time parents get concerned, kids have got used to a lifestyle of keeping parents out. They make their decisions with the teens, their own peers, and then the digital screen takes their time. So, teachers, I want to appeal to you that you might be the first responder to a child's crisis, because you see them for some length of time at school daily, and sometimes a teacher may be seeing a child longer at a stretch than a parent sees a child, because the teacher is with the child in the class for 40 minutes, isn't it? So please be aware of it, be on the child's side, and consider teaching as a vocation where you bring out the best for the student. So again, I want to appeal to teachers that parents don't fight with school, work with the school to make it better for your child. Then what are the teacher remedies that are quickly applicable? Carefully pick up 6 empathic kids in a class of 60. You just watch, once you take the class over, just see some students will come to you and ask about the class. Some students will speak on behalf of other children. They are the empathic kids, leaders who are considering and can be used for good purpose, and that's character development for them. Group with them 6 other kids. Give them groups to do little icebreaker kind of activity. It can be physical, it can be mental, a game like towns and whatever. So starting with the letter S, and then the empathic kid takes leadership to lead her group or his group, so that you create a little leadership community in a group of 6 or group of 7 among the kids themselves. Take time with icebreakers, a common interest questionnaire. Ask the 6 kids gently what they thought about their group of 6. Take a little special time with those 6 kids and say, how did it go? How was the group activity? So that you with intention and design involve those kids in the welfare of others. Develop the 6 kids as watchouts to keep ear to ground, raise kids at risk. So you don't ask direct questions. How do you think? How was your group? Are they well today? What are the subjects they find difficult? So you ask neutral questions in which your leaders, the peer level leaders, will begin to identify a very necessary, what shall I say, givenness in their way of relating to their own friends. This would be useful. So take this as a, my suggestion is take this as a necessary instruction, and please work with it. Yes. Yes, give me a minute, I want to check on something. Yes. So, that's about teacher remedies that you can quickly apply. Then I want to remind you that we, in our center, Empathic Learning Center Colombo, we have empathic motor therapies and empathic learning therapies. You can bring the kids up to our place. We do not charge. You can make an appointment. Please give a telephone call to 077 151 2801. We encourage all schools to bring a whole class even and come. So in that interaction, and a coach will interact with you so that you can ask relevant questions and give kids the easy time in which you also can interact with them soon after school or lunch interval or a period assigned for that empathic motor activity, you can call it. That builds up friendships and helps children to come out with difficulties they may have about different topics. Then I want to get into a kids classification, according to what kids may be going through and according to how they have wired up in their brain, and also how they have felt together in life circumstances. There are firstly empathic intuitive kids. They are quiet and contained and don't push them to get up and answer questions. So you need to know all these 7 kinds of kids will be in your classroom, and assume that each of them will fit into one category, or there may be overlapping natures. So empathic intuitive is quiet, contained, and they like to be to themselves rather than pulled out of their inner atmosphere and say answer this and that. So don't get offended if kids are like that. Secondly, empathic relational kids, easygoing, outgoing, chatty, and they generally interact easily, and they tend to become monitors of a class also. Then you will have digitized kids who might have been diagnosed as ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity. That is what happens with too much digitization. Then if they are in the class, you have to treat them as kids who need a little more attention specifically to direct their energy into something in the period. You may direct some questions and activities to them. You may ask them to come up and hold something if that is part of the demonstration. Don't corner them, don't criticize them. Are you jittery? Why are you? Please don't do that. Then some schools allow a shadow teacher to be with an ADHD child. I don't like that diagnosis because we doctors diagnose it too much and kids are put on drugs too much. We must first try empathic remedial measures. If you want clips on this subject, please WhatsApp to me. 074-211-5011. I will send you the subject matter you need to know. So that's about digitized kids or hyperactive kids who might have been diagnosed as ADHD. And to this same category, I want to include autism spectrum kids who may have a touch of that. I want to include kids who for other reasons may not be studying well or concentrating well, dyslexia and so on. So please be, and other health issues may make kids to be less attentive. So this whole group I like to put as less attentive kids. You need a plan for that. You need further training and instruction. In a general lecture like this, I can't address more. Then you have those kids who are very language expressive, talkative. Other kids who don't want to be drawn out like that. Their words are very economical. So the talkative kids need expression. They like to come and say things to you. They make up stories. They do a little drama kind of thing. Then there are other kids who are pictorial processive, and they're imaginative. They see a drama and they act something out that they are seeing or imagining inside. Then there are managerial kids who can manage things well. Their desk and room at home is very orderly. Then there are very messy kids who are, they have not learned management, so things are everywhere scattered, but don't call them scatterbrain and things like that. So you understand your class is a mix of many things. Finally, the amygdala kid is the kid who gets easily weepy, and she's very concerned for the poor, the troubled, the disaffected. She's the friend of the kids who are not up and about. In the process, she can get depressed, so on. So you must have a special eye for the amygdala kid. The word comes from at the bottom of our brain is that amygdala that remembers bad experiences, bitter experiences, and the kids move to bottom-up regulation, giving up their executive empathic mode. So these are a wide spectrum of different kinds of kids, and one of each will be in your class, because your class is a sample of what kids are about. I'm not asking you to be expert on every problem. I'm asking you to be aware of the kinds of kids, and if one kid who has attention deficit, then you must refer that refer that kid, get the parents and speak to them quietly, encourage them. If you refer them to me, of course, I do a consultation without any cost, so that I direct them into things. I have also written extensively. You can send me a WhatsApp for clips or for books. I have written on this subject. Dr.Lalith Mendis is my name, and those books are available with Saraswati Vijitayapa and our own Apeksha bookshops. So be aware of it. Please send me a WhatsApp to 074-211-5011 to check on this. Why I'm giving you the WhatsApp number more is more parents are contacting me, and the city is worried about what's happening. So that's why I'm giving more reasons. Then I have done a full lecture on the causes for suicide and suicide prevention, so I'm not going there today. Today my talk is on how to make parents and teachers or school to work together for the best of the student. That's my topic today. So few points of prudence. Any child can get an A in some subject. As a teacher, particularly if you are the class teacher, you must be aware of it. Even if you are a particular subject, teacher of a subject, you have to know that all kids are not good at math or science. Most teachers know that. At the same time, even in language ability, some children are word processing, some children are picture processing. That's how their brain has wired. So they understand graphics more than words. You have to be aware of this. Never scold in front of all, never insult, never intimidate, no corporeal punishment at all in the class. Any further correction must be done alone. Couch instruction as improvement. Don't condemn. Say that was wrong, this was wrong. That never recall the past. Tell the child, this is how you improve, darling. Never refer to past events, no discrimination, no sarcasm, and be sensitive to hurt that they carry, and then think of and keep a sensitivity about dropouts and those who might be losers. They have a tendency to do things, drop things, and things like that. Teachers never ever order a whole class and say go out. No, that's not. No way is that possible. Throw even one student out of the class, in my esteem, is wrong, because being in the class as a student is a human right, and teacher is a teacher, so that you may have all the skill necessary to keep every student in the class. Excommunicating a student out of a class is not acceptable. Then insult publicly to make a lesson out of one student is no way. Insult parents, no way. Exalt school values while teachers act like tyrant, it's not acceptable. Teachers who are all girls or all boys can do this more. Speaking of school values, but becoming nasty about it. Stop excursions in order to punish. That is, you have little picnics and fun learning excursions. Don't stop them as a punitive measure. Very wrong. Because this is also part of learning. So you can't stop one part of learning which students may like in order to punish or gain for another part of learning. Punishment during interval is not acceptable. Interval is necessary interaction time for kids. You can't say be in the classroom during the interval as a punitive measure. Completely out. Put pressure on students for good results. Be careful about that. Especially if you are thinking of school grades and school having a good reputation, therefore children have to perform well, is not what shall I say, it's good for every student to get the maximum they can, but it cannot be for the sake of school looking good. Then do not castigate demeaningly students for bad grades, and don't criminalize or recrimination by discussions with other teachers. Because about a student's problem, you need to keep confidentiality. Just the way doctors have to keep confidentiality, so any discussion must be with an expert keeping confidentiality. Now, dear parents, you must be the best friends of teachers. Please. Digitization, isolation begins at home. So their bonding and personality difficulties would have begun at home. You need to realize that. You can't put all the blame on the school. School community is very precious for kids. Parents are best friends for school. Dedicated teachers and committed parents make great schools. I'll repeat it. Dedicated teachers and committed parents make great schools, like my one, St. Thomas's College. Stop fighting the school, because in a crisis, don't fight the school. Get together and do the best you can. Make representation and get the school to understand that school needs help in this matter. That is also important, yes. Get a few sensible parents get together so the school understands that you are speaking on behalf of the school. Send useful training clips to all teachers and parent groups. If you are listening to this, please send me a WhatsApp 0742115011. I will send you a clip that will help, and even this clip, if you can send around, please send it to others. When this is available on YouTube, I will send this to you if you send me your WhatsApp number. Watch your child for distress, because you see the child at home. If the child is withdrawing, not coming for meals, and watch your child. And both parents to attend Parent Teacher Day. Don't only send mom. That I insist always. You also have to fathom the fact that school community has changed. Frequent change of school. That sense of loyalty, you begin with one school and end with one school, is no more there. Frequent change of school, Then in the new school, bullying and victims may be there. Then pressure for good grades for school namesake should not be, emphasized to an extent that kids come under pressure. Then absenteeism as individual tuition takes the place of school education. That's a real issue. So many students don't go to school more than 3 days a week. So that sense of school community is already fractured. Extracurricular activities that bonded kids are not given any importance these days. Those days, sports activities, debating, literary societies kept kids functioning together in other ways. Now, much of this is left behind in the push to study only, and so much tuition classes outside school hours. Many kids leave school from O levels so that a senior group that carried school values, gave back what they got from school, is not present. So A-level students may not be involved with school much at all. So prefects group that kept school values going may not happening, and on the other hand, some prefects can be very demanding and abusive. So you need to be mindful how much school community has itself changed, how much school culture has changed. I'm not talking about any one school, I'm talking about the general change that has come upon what was school. There can be many cliques rather than a common school life. Those who are into different digital games on a digital app, and some digital apps are very, very dangerous. So that sense of one school, one community may not be there. So many sectarian interests. Giving back to your alma mater is a lost cause these days. So we have to work with a school situation like that. Know that therefore problems come up in a situation like that. Yes, these are the things I wanted to discuss with you. I have done in detail suicide prevention. You can ask for that. I have done in detail digitized risk that precipitates or provokes suicide. So please, you can call for those clips. I was founding head of pharmacology in a state medical faculty. I have researched this subject as brain screen issue from 2012. I predicted that this risk will go to perilous experiments. Now it is happening. So we have to somehow get together and make it better for our children, parents and school working together. So I have given you my telephone numbers and connections. If you want a consultation free of cost, please give a call to my secretary 077 151 2801. Thank you for listening. I am Dr. Lalith Mendis.